Hi, Bryan Klein. I'm going to go ahead and show you today quickly how to install FDS for the Mac OS X, run it, and not only that, but how to use the launcher icon and the launcher application, and command line terminal commands for running FDS on the Mac, and also how to edit your profile. So let's get started. As you can see, we're on the home page for Fire Dynamics Simulator in Smokeview. Go ahead and hit the downloads. Here you'll want Apple OS X, and then you want to download these three files. Usually there'll be a primary bundle. It'll be either a major or minor release, and then additional maintenance releases. These update the version of FDS, in this case to 5.14, and Smokeview, in this case to 5.13. So you'll want all three of these files. So let's go ahead and check our downloads, and here you see we have the bundle, FDS, and the Smokeview updater. Okay, so these are all zip files, so just extract these. We'll go ahead and unarchive. Okay, and let's do that for these as well. And the last one. Okay, great. So what we have here now are three directories that contain the original bundle and the updates. Let's go ahead and expand this and take a look. What you'll see is a little readme.txt file here. You can go ahead and take a look at that if you want. It just gives you a little bit of information, what you need to add to your .profile, and some other information. So we'll get back to that here in a bit. But for now, the easiest way to install this is just to take this NIST folder and drop it on your applications folder. Okay, so now we have a NIST directory under applications. Here you see the FDS and Smokeview files. I'm going to switch to this view, and if we open these up, you'll see all this stuff. Alright, let's go back over here to let's go back to downloads. Alright, I'm going to bring up an applications directory too, just so we have both. Okay. So the other two directories that we got, the Smokeview and the FDS directories, all these do is just contain updated versions of those files on our machine that we want to update. So we'll just grab all of these, bring them over, drop them on FDS, and go ahead and replace everything. That updates. Great. And the same thing with our Smokeview. Let's get all these. Those over, drop them on Smokeview, replace, and there we are. So I noticed that Smokeview has been updated, its naming from Intel to just OS X. So let's go ahead and delete the old one. And I'll show you, we'll get back to this in a minute when I show you the launching script, but I need to make an edit, and in a future update of the launcher this new name will be used, but it's not used in this current version, so I'll show you how to fix that. Right, and this launcher that I'm talking about is actually in the utilities folder under FDS. You see a little .app file here. Just go ahead and grab that, drag it, and bring it to just bring it to somewhere on your dock. Let's go ahead and put it like maybe right in the middle, right between iTunes and SketchUp. There we go. Alright, so it's in here now. That's pretty much all you need on a Mac, because now what we can do is under this verification folder we have example applications. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. Yeah, so you'll have a big list, a lot of different things that show examples of different functions in FDS. We actually use this to test functionality. So let's just real quick run this activate events.fds case. Let's just grab it. All you have to do is drag it and drop it on your launcher app on the dock. And yep, you'll get this the first time. Yep, we want to run it. And here it goes. Easy enough, and it's running. So that's FDS running, full speed ahead. Alright, it's done. Let me just show you what this does though. It tells you that it's going to archive your input file under activateevents.zip and then run activateevents.fds. And if you take a look in this verification folder, you'll notice that it created a directory called activate events and under that will be all of the output for that input file, plus a zip file which contains the original version of your activeevents.fds file. This is really good for archiving a copy of the FDS file that you use to run that particular case with. So you'll always have a clean copy of that as part of it. Now, all of this little functionality comes from a script. It's essentially a Perl script that I've written to do a few things, create the directory, and then execute FDS. But here's a nice thing too, it'll also run Smokeview. But we need to fix our script first, so let me show you the script. If you open up the utilities folder again, right-click this, show the package contents. Now we're in our launcher app. Go into resources, you'll see a script file. Right-click that, let's just open it up with just a text editor. There's text edit. Alright, this is this Perl script I was telling you about. So if you take a look at it, we set up some variables and then we just check see if it's an FDS or an SMV file, and if so, then do some different things. But notice right here, the SMV is OSX Intel. This will be updated, like I said, but let's just delete the underscore Intel and save this. Alright, so I've updated the script. That's all you need to do. Now we'll get back out of this. Okay, so that's been updated. Now we go back under verification in this activate events directory and watch this. If I take this SMV file and I drag it and drop it on the launcher, it actually will run FDS, or run Smokeview for me. And this is the output window. There we go, and we can load particles. So let's load some particles. And there we go. So you're running Smokeview. Not bad, huh? And you notice it's the 5.13 version, the version that we updated. So let's go ahead and just quit this. Okay, sorry about the interruption there. The knock that you heard was Glenn coming in to ask me to give him a hand with something real quick. It's funny that we were in the middle of Smokeview when he walked in. So anyway, okay, so we're going to get back to it. So you just saw how we ran in Smokeview by just dragging and dropping. One thing you'll notice is that I keep clicking this quit button. You can't run FDS and Smokeview simultaneously from the same icon on your dock. It's essentially running right now. You have to quit before you can do that. So what some people have done is take this launcher, make a copy of it, call one of them FDS launcher and one Smokeview launcher, and then drag both icons to the desktop, and that way you can drop FDS files on one and Smokeview on the other, and it doesn't really matter which one you drop to, but that way you have two icons with two separate launcher apps that can run either Smokeview or FDS simultaneously. So that's a tip. You know, I'm not showing you how to do that here, but that's something you could do. So let's quit that. All right, so the other thing I've mentioned is being able to run this stuff from the command line. When you do that, you don't you lose the functionality of the launcher. But let me go ahead and delete this. But I'll show you how to how to replicate some of it. So let's go ahead and bring up a terminal. And all right, I'll close this window. Okay, so let me show you something real quick before we get started. On OS X, there's a program called Screen, and what this lets you do is do virtual interfaces. So in a terminal window, and you can disconnect from them, log out of your machine, and then you can log back in from another client through SSH, or when you log back into your user account to your display, you'll get access to be able to reconnect back into that virtual session, and you can leave FDS running in the background in this Screen app, in this virtual terminal, when you're not logged in. You'll notice that normally if you were to launch FDS from the command line by default here, when you closed the terminal or logged out, it would stop the FDS simulation. So some people have talked about how to redirect output to a file and just different things, but I prefer Screen. So let me show you how this works. So if you just type Screen and hit enter, you'll get a little bit of information about it. Just space or enter to get in. So I'm now at a virtual prompt, okay? And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and switch to my applications directory, to the NIST folder, to FDS, and to verification, which is where these where these cases are over here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Oh, might help to CD. So we'll just do that again. Applications, NIST, FDS, verification. Got ahead of myself. Okay, so here they are. All right. So now, to kind of replicate the same functionality, what I like to do is to just do a make directory. All right, and that's going to give you this ability. So we'll make dir and we'll call it activate vents. All right, there we go, and then we can copy activate vents.fds into activate vents. All right, and now cd to activate vents, and here we are. Okay, so you'll notice that we've created a new subdirectory with the file name of the case that we're going to run, and we copied a copy into that directory. All right, so now we're here. And now let's just, we'll go ahead and run FDS. So I'm going to do this with an absolute path. One of the things that you can do is to create a bash RC file or a screen RC file, which you can set some path variables. And I'll show you that in the profile, but you can do that within screen as well. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. But let's go ahead and run this. So I'm going to say absolute path applications, NIST, FDS, and then FDS5, OSX, Intel 32. Okay, so this tells me it's FDS5 on OSX for the Intel chipset and a 32-bit version. You can switch out 32 with 64 if you're on a 64-bit platform like a Mac Pro. And then the PowerPC people, you can see these here, all these different options with PowerPC, G4, G5, 64 MC. This takes advantage of multi-cores, parallel on a 64-bit, 32, 64. So there's a few different things. The DBs or debugs. So there's a few options you can use, but we'll use 32-bit. All right, and then activate vents.fds. So that's all you need to type. And here we go. Same kind of an output we saw before in the text window. And it's done. All right, now what I want to show you, see if I can end quickly enough, but I'm going to disconnect from the screen, and then I'll reconnect to the screen, and you'll see that it will have finished in the meantime. So I'm going to disconnect, close the terminal, come back in, log in, and you'll see the end. So let's see if I can do that fast enough. And the way you disconnect is you're going to go Control-A, and then hit the D key for disconnect. Control-A is sort of the action, Control Action, and then D, there's next and previous with N and P. There's a few different commands with screen. You can look at that through the man page, but let's see if I can do this fast enough. So Control-A, D. All right, so I've detached, and you can see that right here. And now I'm back to my original command prompt to terminal. Now let's just exit. Log out, done. All right, so terminal's done. But actually, I'm even going to quit this just to show you. Okay, so terminal is completely shut off. Normally, this would have killed the FTS job. But now if I go screen-R, this is a reconnect, and here we are, completed successfully. So you can disconnect, shut down, log out. Don't shut down your computer because it will need to be running for FTS to run, but log out of your session, go home for the night. You could SSH back in or come back the next day, screen -R, reconnect, and see where you're at. And then this will just be running in the background. Okay, so I'm done, and I'm not running a process, so when I exit screen, it actually, you'll see screen is terminating, and now that screen process is actually shut off too. What's neat about screen is you can use that to create multiple sessions running. I maybe want to run 3 jobs at the same time. I can create different screens for each one, launch a separate instance of FDS running different input files, and then come back and switch between each one. And you can if you search GNU screen on the internet, you'll find information on how to use screen better. But I just wanted to introduce it to you here. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is I mentioned in the README file about setting up .profile. And the nice thing about that is if I just start typing if I just type FDS-5, it's starting to complete because it knows that this is in my path, and I'm just hitting tab and completing each piece. So the way it finds that in your path, some people ask me about .profile, in your user directory, so make sure you're in home, so we'll just double check, right? Okay, so I'm in home. You can, I'm going to vim my .profile. Alright, this has all kinds of stuff in it for different things I'm running, so you can kind of ignore it, but the key one that I want you to notice, the important thing, is this one right here. Okay, this line, which says FDS-SMV path utilities and path update, and I'm exporting the path variable equal to, and then double quotes, applications NIST FDS, colon, that separates, then applications NIST Smokeview, colon, and then applications NIST FDS utilities, colon, and then $path just brings the existing version of path, which may have been set above in the script or already existing in the environment, and prepends these directories to the path, and then it exports the whole thing. So you need to add a line like this to your .profile file. If you don't have a .profile, just vim.profile, add this little bit of text to that, and then save that. And to save something, hit I to insert mode, type what you need to type, escape, colon, write, W, so hit W, then Q, you're looking right down here, and then enter. That'll write and then quit. So I've now edited and added to that to my .profile. Alright, so that's what .profile is that I was talking about. Okay, so that's basically it. This lets you use the launcher, use terminal, using screen. Showed you a few different options here, and you see that the terminal output is the same. One thing I wanted to also show you, Smokeview, when it runs, you may notice that when you run it through the terminal, actually let me show you that. So let me cd to where that file is. I'm going to show you something kind of neat on the Mac too. If I just say I want to go to this directory, right? So cd space drag drop, it automatically gives me my full path. It's kind of a neat tip. And there we are. Oops, yeah, that won't work. There we go. All right, so I'm in here. Now I can do Smokeview 5 OSX. Just kind of start typing and hit tab, and it'll complete. And then activate events.smv. If I hit that, you'll watch what's happening in this terminal window over here as I do things in Smokeview. All right, I'm going to load, let's say, particles here, and see it adds output to the screen. Okay, and while it's doing things, while it's loading and unloading and rendering and doing whatever you're doing in Smokeview. All right, so let's quit this, and I'll show you what I've done. So when you notice that when I use the launcher for this, right, this is all you get to the output, all right? But there is stuff happening. So if I load plot file, particle file, particles, you're not getting that output here. Originally, when I wrote the launcher, you would get all that to here. But what ended up happening is it was really laggy because it had to type, essentially to this text window, all of this screen. All of this information, redirecting and pumping it out to this box. So what I did instead is I have the launcher create a log file just for performance. So you'll notice a little .log here, and if you open that, let's open it up with, I'll use a different app, we'll do TextMate, whatever. Any text editor will do. This is the output that you normally get to the screen, and I just log it. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this is in case there's an error in Smokeview when you're trying to load something, you can come back in and check the log and see what might have happened. Okay, and this will just get overwritten each time you launch Smokeview. It'll just overwrite the log. One other thing that this will do is, so if I already have an activate events directory and I go to launch the same input file again, it gives me a warning and will say that this directory already exists. You have 10 seconds to click cancel. So if you, oh, okay, cancel, it won't overwrite the files. If you don't click cancel, this folder, everything in it will start to be overwritten by new run. So that's just a little precautionary measure I put in there. It gives you a few seconds to, you know, if you made a mistake and you didn't want to do that, you have a chance to stop before you overwrite all your simulation. It may have taken a week or weeks to compute. The other thing you can do, and I think I'll probably wrap it up on this, is if every time I double click an FDS file, I want to launch the launcher, you can do that too. And this just gives you a shortcut for running FDS cases. What you do is go to Get Info, okay, and then open with, and you pick the launcher, okay, and it's already set to that, but you would, if it may be set to a text editor or nothing before, set it to the launcher, browse for it if you need to, you know, other, and find it. I'll just go into here. Okay, go into Applications, NIST. Just go down this path, NIST and FDS and Utilities, and then Launcher. Okay, always open with, Add, and then Change All. And this will do every .fds file to be launched with the launcher. So watch this. If I just double click this, it automatically runs the launcher and will start the FDS run. And I'll go ahead and cancel. That's part of the reason why I put the cancel in there, is if people wanted to be able to run these with the launcher by just double clicking on a FDS file, it gives you that, you just double clicked, are you sure you want to overwrite? So anyway, that's what that's for, and you can just delete these. So okay, well that's just a quick overview of what you can do on OS X for FDS and Smokeview. I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, make sure to visit our discussion group, and just to kind of review that, go to fire.nist.gov/FDS. That's our home page. Go to either, you can hit the discussion group or issue tracker here, and or there's also support options. And please read this if you haven't already. It gives you some really nice tips on how to get support, what's the most effective way, discussion group, issue tracker, email list, and finally emailing or instant messaging me. So notice this is at the bottom. Thank you. Hope this helps. Have fun.